Welcome everyone, old and new. The holidays are upon us, and that means lots of delicious baked goodies. Today we're going to use one dough recipe to make 5 scrumptious treats. Here we go! I will put the recipe in the description to make it easier for everyone, but here I'm just starting with 10 cups of all-purpose flour. Then I'm just going to add 2 tablespoons of salt, 2/3 cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then 5 tablespoons of instant yeast. Now my bowl is super full, so I'm going to stir very slowly and carefully. But just for you guys, I'll speed it up. Once I get all the dry ingredients well incorporated, I'm going to make a well in the center for the wet ingredients. This will just make it easier to stir with how much I've got in this bowl. Here I've got 2/3 cup plus 2 tablespoons canola oil, and then I'm going to start with 2 cups of warm water. I'm just going to stir this in a little bit, and then I'll add 2 more cups of warm water. The only reason I'm adding the water in 2 batches is my bowl is really full, and this just makes it more manageable. If you have a bigger bowl or you are only making part of this recipe, feel free to add all the water at once. Or maybe you're just super adventurous and you want to add all the water into your bowl even though you're making the whole thing. I don't know, you do you. Anyway, I'm just going to stir with my spatula until everything is somewhat incorporated, then turn the dough out onto a lightly floured surface to start kneading. This dough is still going to be kind of wet at this point, so just add a little dusting of flour under and over as you need it. Did you see what I did there? Okay, I'm done. Okay, I'm going to start by folding the dough in on itself, and when I encounter sticky spots, I'll just sprinkle a little flour over it. Just keep kneading for about 5 minutes or so until you have a nice smooth dough. An easy way to tell if the dough is worked enough is to take a little piece of dough and spread it out really thin. If you can see through it without it tearing, you're done. Something kind of like this. Can you guys see that? I don't know. Sometimes it helps to hold it up to a window. When your dough is sufficiently kneaded, just go ahead and shape it into a ball, put it back in your bowl, cover it with a towel, and rest for 10 minutes in a warm place. Let's clean up this mess really quick. Now while I'm waiting for my dough to rest, I'm just going to make a couple of fillings. For the first one, I'm just taking 6 tablespoons of melted butter, and then I'm adding a 1/4 cup of cinnamon and 1/2 cup of sugar. Set that aside and save it for later. For the second filling, I'm just going to melt 6 tablespoons of butter again, and then add 1 cup of brown sugar. I'm kind of going for a thick paste here. There we go. Set this one aside as well, and our dough should be ready. Perfect! Okay, now I'm going to divide this dough into 5 roughly even sections. Like that. I'm going to set 4 of these aside with a towel over them so they don't dry out, and we can get started on our first and easiest recipe. We are going to turn this dough ball into a nice sandwich bread loaf. You don't need to add anything at this point, just shape it into a loaf and place it into an oiled bread pan. Cover it with a towel and let it hang out in a warm place until it has reached the top of your bread pan. or until it's double, probably about an hour. Next, let's do some delicious cinnamon swirl bread. First, you'll want to shape your dough into a log. You can use your bread pan as a measuring device. Then we will roll it out. Don't forget to flour your rolling pin. Keep in mind as you're rolling this dough out, the thinner you roll it, the more swirl you will have in the bread. You can really go as thin or as thick as you like. I'm not going to go super thin with mine. Once you get that rolled out how you like it, remember that butter cinnamon stuff we made earlier? Take, I don't know, like a spatula full of that and spread it out evenly over the dough. Then gently start rolling your dough into a tight roll. I like to tuck in my ends just to kind of help hold in all that cinnamon filling. Okay, grab an oiled loaf pan, and when you go to put the dough in, make sure you put the crease face down so the weight of the rest of the dough can kind of hold it all together and keep it from popping up when it goes to rise or bake. Then just cover it with a towel and let it rise the same as the sandwich bread. While your bread loaves are rising, let's make some cinnamon rolls. I like to spray my dish with cooking spray. You can use oil or a combination of oil and flour or butter, you know, whatever works for you and your dish. So for cinnamon rolls, we're going to roll out our dough just like we did for the cinnamon bread. I'm just going to roll my dough out to about a 1/4 inch thick, about the same as I did for the cinnamon bread. If you like more swirls in your cinnamon rolls, then just roll it out a bit thinner. Once you get that done, then spread the rest of your butter, cinnamon, and sugar mixture over evenly and all the way out to the edge. Then roll it up, nice and tight. If you find that your dough is sticking like mine did, you can grab any flat edge like a bench scraper or something like that to help kind of scrape it up. I'm just tucking the ends in again because they weren't exactly even. Go ahead and divide into 12 rolls and then place in your baking dish. Cover and let it rise, same as the bread. Next, I think some dinner rolls are in order. Let's make 24. That sounds good. I'm just kind of shaping this into a log to make it easier to divide into 24 tiny little balls. Alright, here's how you make them round. Tuck the dough under your hand and stiffen your hand. Then move it in a circular motion until your ball is formed. So cute! Place them all on a parchment-lined baking sheet and let them rise until double. How about some sticky buns next? Those sound good. I managed to forget to hit record during this process, but they're made just like the cinnamon rolls. Roll the dough out and spread the butter and brown sugar mixture evenly over the surface. Roll it up and divide it into 12. Then place on a parchment-lined baking sheet, and I topped mine with chopped walnuts. The walnuts add a beautiful crunch and flavor, plus they help cut the sweetness of that sugar. Cover and let them rise. By now, both of your bread loaves should be about done rising, so go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, then pop them in for 30 to 35 minutes. When the bread comes out of the oven, the cinnamon rolls and the dinner rolls should be about done rising and ready to go in the oven. Bake the cinnamon rolls for 30 to 35 minutes and the dinner rolls for 20 to 25 minutes. Would you like some cream cheese frosting to go on those cinnamon rolls? Psst, what a question! I got you. You will need 4 ounces of room temperature cream cheese. I'm just smoothing mine out a bit with a spatula. Then add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of milk or cream, and a 1/4 cup room temperature butter, which I forgot to add here, so I did it off camera. Sorry about that. As soon as my cinnamon rolls come out of the oven, I like to go ahead and put 1/2 of the cream cheese frosting on them. What that does is let the cream cheese frosting melt down into all the crevices and makes your cinnamon rolls so ooey gooey you won't even believe it. Once those cinnamon rolls are squared away, your sticky buns ought to be ready for the oven. Bake them for 20 to 25 minutes or until they look like this. All that brown sugar and butter gets caramely and walnuts get roasted. What a treat! Okay, the last thing I'm doing is just adding on the rest of my cream cheese frosting to my cinnamon rolls once they're completely cool. Then you're ready to invite all of your friends and family over and eat food. Who doesn't love that? If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're a special kind of person. Subscribe for more videos every week. See you soon.